Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Every single Tuesday, we're thrilled to be joined by our buddy Sean Salisbury. This week in particular, as the Saints are headed to Houston, part of the many jobs that Sean has, the many media outlets that he's on. He does mornings on Sports Talk 790 there in Houston, so has a great finger on the pulse of the Texans. Good enough to join us now. Sean, always great to chat, man. How are you?
Matty, I'm good, brother. Good to be on with you. Man, good week for your Baton Rouge, New Orleans teams, huh?
Oh man, needed it after the really disappointing loss at home against the Bucs and the way that LSU defensively did what they did against Ole Miss. But we'll get to the Tigers. I want to start with the Saints going to Houston. Man, this one feels really pivotal, certainly for both teams, but definitely for the Saints because of the stretch they have coming up. I want to start by asking you about CJ Stroud, though. I know you've alluded to it a couple of times, but assess his first 5 games of his rookie season.
Advanced. Surprising, not shocking, the way he throws the ball. I think anytime a rookie comes in and does this on the processing, we hear that a lot. Just so people, and when we say processing, can you take what the coaches taught you in the meeting room, watch it on tape, apply it to what you're seeing coverage-wise, and understand what they're doing, and then go out to the practice field, apply it, come back in and adjust and get ready for the game. Then during the game, process that information, and then on the sidelines, be willing to adjust and adapt. It's a process, and it really is. And rookies are usually, Matty, when you watch water polo and those guys are above and calm, then you look down underneath and their feet are moving a million miles. That's usually, let alone a second or third year guy, that's usually a rookie. You know what it feels like to me? It feels like that the Texans, that when they drafted him, it was almost like they took the perfect fit and stuck it in the 49ers stuff, what he likes to do, and he's executing it well. I don't know why we ever questioned. I'm still trying to figure out from high school to college, and I have said this all off season last year, from high school to college, what didn't you see throwing the ball that told you he couldn't throw the ball? The guy can rip it. He's been accurate. He's a big play guy. The thing I was concerned about is processing quickly on a bad team where you may get knocked around, or an average team, a rookie coordinator, rookie head coach, and all the expectations are placed on him. And the windows, Matty, I've tried to explain, high school windows, you could take 2 hitches, be late. And if you got a big talented arm, you can throw late and be in the window. I try to teach them to act like they're in college guys to act like it's Sunday. And then Saturday, the windows close down a little bit. But at Ohio State, with those receivers and the windows are fairly big, and they designed good offense, and he still threw it well. And then you get that coffee can size window when you're playing in the NFL. And if you're late, you're done. Now, that's why you got to anticipate. So I think the anticipation is the thing that is the most surprising to me. The anticipation, the ability to fit into what Bob Sloak's trying to do. And there's a fine line, Matty, between being aggressive with the football and protecting it. And you know what I'm saying? Where sometimes you get the guy who comes in, he's a rookie, and he's playing it safe. Checked. I think we saw that from Desmond Ridder the first couple weeks this year, even though he's a second-year guy. And then against the Texans, he let it rip. But rookie, we see it with young quarterbacks and sometimes veterans. But he is processed the information. He is extremely aggressive with the football without being stupid with it. And not turning it over is giving them a chance. And it's rare that we go to a rookie and say, you're going to carry us, throw it 30 to 45 times a game. Our running game's sluggish. I need you to pull through as a rookie, process it, deal with all the defenses, and still trying to get all the stuff down while your feet are going 100-mile-an-hour under the water, and lead us. They have put the games in his hands. Rare for a rookie. The guy's a special thrower of the football. The shocking or the surprising part is how quickly he's knowing where to throw it.
You know what else? I mean, look, the Texans are 3rd in the NFL in passing offense. And the kid's has not yet thrown an interception. But, Sean, I look at the receivers. It's not like he's got DeAndre Hopkins. It's not like he's got Justin Jefferson. Nico Collins, he's a fine player, but I don't think anyone's going to say Nico Collins is a top 10 receiver in the NFL.
Oh, no doubt.
So,
no question.
How assess what he's doing with the talent that he has at receiver.
Yeah, and Matt, it's a great question. Think about this too. Pierce, who's a good runner. And let me just start there. You know the 49ers run scheme where Bobby Slowick came from and Kyle Shanahan and old school Mike Shanahan and the Denver Broncos. You have to be a patient runner in the backfield. You stretch, they pushed it by, and that inside or outside zone cutback, right? Well, the reason they're struggling a little bit there, because and I think DeMeco Ryans will admit that his offensive line, they're giving you some holes. Pierce last year, downhill, ISO, downhill, old school Pep Hamilton, Jim Harbaugh, some eye back, that stuff. Well, that requires hit it. See, Pierce wants to hit the hole the second it opens. He wants to be through it. When you're playing this inside zone, outside zone run scheme, there's got to be a split second more patience so the hole can open, push it by, and you can cut back. He's still learning that, so it's been a little sluggish, which means even more pressure on Stroud. Collins, Dalton Schultz, Tank Dell, you mentioned John Mechie, Robert Woods, the veteran. None of them are number ones right now. They have hopes that Nico Collins and Mechie will be. The truth is they got a bunch of number 2s and 3s that are actually playing really good. And I'll tell you another way to tell if a quarterback gets it, Matty, and I say it all the time. Where's the distribution of the football? Left, right, deep, short, 6, 7, 8 different bodies that you distribute it. So even though they don't have a legit one where you're like, wow factor, you go into a game and have to slide coverage to them, what they do have is his ability, and right now he's not locked into one, and sometimes that can be a good thing, his ability to say, okay, that guy's not open, to trust where he's throwing. One week it was Tank Dell, big week. The next week it was Nico Collins, big week. So he's spread it out, and what I think happens is guys aren't feeling left out. And so they're all working, because I've always told quarterbacks there is no such thing as a decoy. In this league where you 5 out or 4 out, you better expect the ball, and they are. And he's getting it to the right guy, and it's not one of those stare it down and hope. He is really, and he hasn't had 8 balls that were close to being picked. So he's doing it because he understands it, but he knows how to throw it, but his timing and his ability to put his foot in the ground and let it go. And Slowick's doing a great job of changing the launch point, moving him a little bit, pocket, gun, bootleg underneath, which prevents the defense from teeing off. Now, he'll have a rookie game at some point. He hasn't had one of those yet, and he's got better every time. And now we're talking about 3 weeks in a row. They haven't given up a sack. So we're looking now at a guy who's starting to get comfortable there, and they're allowing him to set his feet and deliver the ball, especially when there's still no dominant run game. It's been damn impressive, and he's making some guys look really good, and so they're all staying alive. And Bobby Slowick's doing a good job of giving him options to distribute the football, which I like.
Yeah. Sean Salisbury is our guest on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. He got us welcome to the NFL against Baltimore, which is, that's a really tough way to introduce. But the Saints are the 4th best defense statistically in the NFL right now. How does CJ Stroud in this offense match up against this Saints defense, which is playing at a high level, just pitched a shutout?
Yeah, well, if you want to ask that New England Patriots team how that felt. My goodness, was that – you want to talk about a dismantling of an offense. They couldn't – but what they 1 of 14, I think, on 3rd down, Matty? The Patriots. We have said all along, Dennis Allen's defenses in their back, they are playoff caliber, can lead your team to where you're going. Then you got to make some plays, and Carr's a good upgrade. Getting Kamara back, as we talked about 2 weeks ago, has been a good thing for them. As far as the defense goes, here you face 2 things. One is the offensive line is getting healthy, so they're going to be able to protect the Titus Howard, Laramie Tunsil. They're getting better up front. What you have to do is I think that if you're Dennis Allen, you give a young guy multiple looks, and it's not just for him. It is for the offensive line that you try to create, just like offense, we're trying to create deception. I think the next level to at least try and get Stroud is giving him looks and giving him a lot of disguise so he's not comfortable on where his check is, where they're sliding the line to, where his hot read is. If you give him time to set his feet, he's going to throw it and he will deliver the ball. And so people say, should you blitz him every time? The chance you take with the blitz is giving up the home run if one of your receivers wins. Now you're on an island by yourself. If you play zone, the chance you take is letting him sit his feet, and he's pretty good even when eyes are on him from the secondary. It's not Marino yet. It's not Brady. I get it. But he really has, I guarantee you, Dennis Allen's defense, I guarantee you they're looking at the Texans a little different now because Stroud can beat you, and they're going to throw it 35, 40 times. For the Texans, somehow, some way, you've got to muster up some patient run or extension screens, slow screens, or even the quick screens to at least get them playing on their heels. Advantage Saints defense, but I'm going to tell you, I don't know if it's a heavy advantage in the game, but Saints defense is obviously one of the better ones in the league. I would expect multiple looks as opposed to saying we're just going to pressure them the whole game, because if you give up 3 home runs in a game, they will be in this game, and they're playing better on defense. They're flying around a little bit.
Yeah, the line's 1.5. I mean, so it's
right.
I don't think
it's
Vegas
is
expecting anything really lopsided. Last thing on this, flip it. Where are the Texans defensively susceptible that the Saints might be able to take advantage?
I think the versatility of the back. I got to see those linebackers cover. This will be the best one they've faced as far as the versatility of that line. I'm thinking, let's see, Baltimore. I'm going through the backs, and they haven't seen McCaffrey yet, or this season. They haven't seen that two-way back that can catch 7 of them and can still run for 85 yards. And the way his deployment is, I'm anxious to see how they're going to move around and give Carr, because if you're motioning and doing the different versatility and the different motions and scheming their defense, if you're the offensive team for the Saints, then I'm anxious to see how this young team, because their biggest problem last year was they could not tackle. They're tackling better, but they're still susceptible to, a few blown coverages in zone. I think they're more comfortable pressuring, but you don't want to do that to a guy who understands defenses all the time either, because they've got home run hitters on this team. So I think that the matchup's good, because I think that the Texans are playing better. And for them, the question is, can they get any pressure at all on Carr with 4 guys? If they can, they'll be in the game. But the matchup problem becomes who's covering Kamara out of the backfield, and can their front 7 be physical enough at the point of attack to deal with coming downhill, getting the mix in with Taysom Hill, getting his snaps? I think that's going to be the question. And you got to force some turnovers, because the Saints obviously are loaded with veterans and a good football team. So I think that the defenses could end up being the difference in this game on both Saints on defense. I'm not so sure there's a major advantage on offense for the Saints, even though Carr's a veteran and the way they're playing. But I do think the Kamara matchup, he's fresh-legged. I think that's a matchup that I'm anxious to see in space, how they deploy him, and can we cover him, meaning the Texans, when he's in the passing game and you stretch him and put him in space. I mean, you may see some empty and see if they deal with that properly, meaning the Texans.
Yeah. Saints offense has scuffled at times this year, and
no doubt.
And Texans did a really nice job with Bijan Robinson last week. They're in Atlanta.
They went in real quick, Matty.
Yeah,
On my whole thing last week, I said, I don't care what you do. If Desmond Ridder beats you, and he did, I'll live with that. He hadn't shown the ability to beat you. He throws for 300+. Great job on the last drive. He was really good. I said, but you cannot go into if you walk out of that game and Bijan Robinson's run for $165 on 25 carries or 30 carries, shame on you.
Right.
They did not let him beat him. The great catch and run for the touchdown down there on the angle route, but they had to win another way. And the other way was that's another advantage for you, Mike. Red zone offense, when they cross the 50, the Texans have got to come up with 7 points instead of 3. 4 field goals won't be enough, even against a non-explosive Atlanta team, even though Pitts and London Drake, they got weapons. Red zone, keep an eye on that, how your defense does against the Texans in the red zone. And they did a great job of saying, that guy's not going to beat us. And maybe it'll be Kamara, but Kamara's a little bit more adept in the passing game right now since Bijan's in his infancy. But that's a hell of a game breaker that's going to happen down the road. He's special.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.